Hello, my young artist friends, and welcome back to Studio 37. This week we're going to look at pop art, specifically the pop art of Peter Max. I have to tell you guys, this pandemic is wearing me out. This winter is dragging on. The news has been bad, and it has been wearing me down. So I had to think of an artist that spoke to me and brought me joy and happiness in these trying times. And I could think of none other than American pop artist Peter Max. I really enjoy his patriotic artwork and his celebration of our country, and I hope you do as well. Without further ado, I'm going to send it over to my computer so we can look at the pop art movement at large, discuss some of my favorite pop artists, and really focus in on the artwork of Peter Max and the symbols he uses as you think about a symbol that you might want to use in your artwork. Thank you for your time and attention. I'll see you soon. As promised, we're going to take a few minutes and look at some pop art, some of the most iconic pop artists, and then we're really going to hone in and look at American artist Peter Max and how he uses his art to celebrate our wonderful country. So pop art really started in England in the 1950s. It was a movement that kind of brought the fine art to the masses by celebrating images people found relatable. Pop art celebrated contemporary consumer culture of the time, and the pop art movement is still reflected in the work of many contemporary pop artists. Romero Britto comes to mind if you want to check out a contemporary pop artist. I did not include any of his work though, because I wanted to keep it short and on point. So one pop artist that you're probably very familiar with is the pop artist Andy Warhol, who became world famous for portraying things like Coca-Cola bottles and Campbell's soup cans as fine art. It was rather shocking in the early 1960s when he did such things, but nonetheless, he really started to challenge the art world and make them question what made something a subject worthy of a painting. He was also completely obsessed with stars, and he coined the term superstar. So when you ever hear the word superstar, that is a word made up by Andy Warhol. And he somewhat very prophetically declared that one day everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. And when I think of YouTube sensations and TikTok stars and reality television, it seems like that 15 minutes of fame for everyone is getting closer and closer than Andy would have ever truly realized. So this is Andy Warhol, his soup cans, and his Marilyn Monroes. I'm going to send it to another American pop artist named Roy Lichtenstein. Doing a Statue of Liberty since we are kind of celebrating the patriotic artwork this week. But Roy Lichtenstein became very famous for his use of comic book techniques in large-scale paintings. So you can see the one on the right is a direct quote from a Popeye comic, where the one on the left of the Statue of Liberty, it's just printed in that very pixelated style like you would see comic books in the early 60s. So Peter Max is a world-renowned pop artist who very much uses art to celebrate his love for America. Max was invited to the White House by Presidents Carter, Reagan, and Clinton. He had an annual tradition in which he painted the Statue of Liberty every 4th of July. And actually, that was one of the President Reagan invited him, and he painted 6 Statue of Liberties on stage, and he invited President Reagan to paint the finishing touch on one of them, which really touched President Reagan. President Clinton, he was so excited to work with him that he made a series called 100 Clintons, where he made 100 paintings of President Clinton. He published a book titled Max Paints America, and let's take a moment to look at some of his iconic portraits of our country. Here are some of those paintings of the Statue of Liberty. Like I said, he did that every year. So these are pretty happening. Here are some more very American paintings that Peter Max did, celebrating the American flag on the left. And actually, the one on the right, he did a series of paintings commemorating the tragic events of 9/11, where you see the Twin Towers standing tall in the background. This was a pretty trying time for America, and Peter Max used his art to bring solace and love, something I hope we can all use our art to do for somebody. At least I hope my mom loves my art, as I'm sure your mom might love yours. And finally, I want to look at some other symbols he used. As you notice in the bottom left, he has that heart there. That was a symbol he used over and over again, as well as a peace sign, because it really started his heyday back in the 1960s with the yippies and the hippies. And on the right, of course, we see a dove, and a dove is a sign of peace since the time of Noah. So I hope you enjoyed looking at pop art with me. I hope you like the work of Peter Max. You find the bright colors and the spirit of love and peace uplifting. And I hope you have fun making your own artwork. Thank you for taking a moment with me. I really hope you enjoyed looking at the pop artists Andy Warhol, Roy Lichtenstein, and Peter Max. I hope you enjoyed the article I sent home about Peter Max. And I know some of those words are kind of tough, but I'm sure you struggled through. Maybe got some help out there. This week, I want you to make your own piece of pop art inspired by Peter Max. And just like he used symbols to celebrate America, like the American flag and the Statue of Liberty, and he used the peace sign and the dove to celebrate peace and the hearts to celebrate love, I want you to think about symbols that mean something to you. Maybe it's something near and dear to you. Maybe it is the Statue of Liberty. It's your choice, but I want you to use the symbol that's dear to you in your own piece of pop art. Please be bold with your color usage. Pick bright, bold colors to bring cheerful smiles to our faces as this long winter drags on. Thank you for your time and attention. Please remember to take care of yourself out there, and if you get a chance, someone else as well. From Studio 37, this is Mr. Shear. Bye, guys.